What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, all right? It is the 5th of May. It's a brand new day. We got about 23 hours, 16 minutes left in the day here. A very bearish close yesterday and Saturday, right? The weekend was a straight drop to the downside. So you know what that means. We've probably got a CME gap to the upside, right? Bitcoin futures here. Let's see. Yep. We dropped down, we gapped down, so we've got a gap right there to the upside. We don't have to fill this right away, right? Some people think this means that we have to fill it right away, but no, that's not the case, right? We have a gap to the downside here, and we didn't fill that right away. However, I do believe we're on our way to fill that gap, and likely we will go a little bit below that gap as well. My expectation this week, if we're looking at, and it is a new week, we've got 7 days left in this week starting today. We just closed last week, right? If we're looking at this week, my expectation would be that this week we do pull back down to about $88,000, $87,000, somewhere in this area where we had resistance before, where we had support before, down at the bottom areas here below $90,000, just below 90K, still above like 87K, 88K. That's what my expectation would be. And ideally, it's not necessary, but I think it'd be cool if we moved down and we came back up. We had a bit of a reverse candle of what we just saw last week. That's a rather bearish candle, so if we can give a bullish candle in the wake of this, I think that would allow us to grow higher over the coming weeks. I don't expect this week to be a growth week. I expect it to be a week that we pull back, we consolidate, we condense, maybe shake out the weak hands, right? Stuff like that. Not financial advice, but not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but I expect the price from here to drop down to this area of resistance, right? And that's about a 6% drop for Bitcoin from the current price, right? What price is that? 88,500. Yeah, that's about 6.4% of a drop from the current price. If Bitcoin drops 6.4%, I would expect the average altcoin drop something on the lines of like 10% or more, even or more. So just keep that in mind. The altcoin markets and the Bitcoin markets might be due for a little bit of a correction over this coming week here. I think if we look at the daily time frame, looking at the daily RSI here, you got overbought, bearish divergence. You're out of the overbought zone now. You had a nice pop off the overbought zone, and you did nothing with it, right? This is a pretty pathetic move for the very bullish setup that you had. You didn't really do anything with it, and volume started to die off too. So as we're building, volume's dying off. We got the bearish divergence at the top. We're finding resistance right at the point that we broke out before back here. And our RSI just got out of the overbought zone. My expectation would be one of two things. Either we go to the 50 to bounce or we go to the 40 to bounce. One of those two things. If we look at Bitcoin here, just real quick in the price perspective, we're in an uptrend right now. I believe we're in an uptrend. It's not confirmed. Technically, I mean, I guess it is confirmed because we've definitely confirmed that this is the low at this point, but it would be more confirmed if we had a higher low, to build off. If we have a higher low, we've got the higher highs, we'll be in a confirmed uptrend with that, but I think that it's confirmed more or less. But we're in an uptrend. Clearly, we just broke out of the downtrend here. That's all I'm trying to say, okay? Last time we were in an uptrend, and this is all connected to what we're doing now in the RSI, okay? Last time when we were in an uptrend and we were consolidating, okay? So here, we started an uptrend right here, and every time we consolidated, if you look here, daily RSI, whenever it consolidated, you went to the oversold zone. You didn't start from the overbought zone though. Here you were overbought, and then you went to the 40 to bounce, okay? And you were consolidating within your uptrend. Nothing crazy at all, but from a high to a low, that was about a 10% drop. I'm just calling for a 6% drop from here, right? Overbought, and then you went to the 40. Here when you corrected, you were overbought, and you went to the 50 to bounce. You're still moving up. You're still kind of in this uptrend, but you're finding support at the 40, right here. You're still topping off. This is kind of your double top right here, and now you begin your downtrend. So it's kind of different rules, but you notice in the uptrend there, the only places that we found support on the daily RSI were at the 50 or at the 40 or higher levels, right? Generally speaking, if we saw like a significant correction from the overbought zone, we did bounce off the 40. Sometimes we got to the oversold zone, but that oftentimes came from areas, or at least the one time that we saw it came from an area that was below the overbought zone. All I'm trying to say here is, to me, it seems very likely that the RSI will go to the 50 or the 40, and until we're down there, I don't care where the price is, but until we're down at one of these levels, I'm not thinking that we're done with this drop, and we have more to go. We don't have to drop down to 88K, and this is why I'm saying I'm not going to focus on the price so much. I don't care. The call is to go to $88,000 right now, but there's a way where we could avoid that. if the RSI, if we continue to consolidate and we just move sideways and the RSI has enough time to defuse itself and just find support at the 50, that's fine. If we're at like $90,000, $92,000 and we can get the RSI to cool off still, that's fine. We don't need to go down to $88,000. But just in the simple way that I would expect this to go, I would think that over the coming days, sometime this week, we do see a correction, a little bit of a downside movement to the prior area of resistance that we had here. We'll probably get a sharp recovery from there, ideally leaving this week with a wick to the downside. That's kind of the expectation. I think this week will be volatile, but we'll see how it goes. Looking at the stochastics, we have crossed down. We officially, with yesterday, let's see, was that yesterday? Yes. Yesterday's close got the blue line officially down. If today closes here or lower, we've got both of them crossed into the band, which could definitely, that's definitely a signal that we're going to continue to move down as well. We'll see how it goes. You know, we did move down a little bit over the weekend. We didn't have a lot of volume. If we continue this pace, if we continue to move down and volume picks up, well, that's very indicative that we are, in fact, going to these areas around 88K or even lower. But if we reverse from here, you know, if we see prices that are above, basically what it would take from here is to get above $97,000 and sustain that, right, to really invalidate the notion that we're going lower. Until then, until I see something like that, the idea is we go lower, or until we just move sideways enough over the next week or so that the RSI and these other indicators cool off, then I might think that we're absolved to going lower as well. Looks like the MACD on a daily time frame is about to cross to the downside here. We did get a nice fresh break above the zero, which shows that we're probably in an overall uptrend, but for the time being, we might cross. Let's see, the last time that the oscillators were up like this above the zero and we crossed bearish, that was right here. Well, that was at the very beginning of a downtrend. That wasn't too good at all. You know, we moved down a little bit and then we moved back up and then we moved down some more, but we crossed below the zero. We want to avoid the oscillators crossing below the zero. We want to find support at the zero line. If not, just avoid touching it altogether. Here, maybe this is a better kind of comparison, right? Because we just got the fresh cross. We just crossed above the zero. Now we're crossing down. We're probably about to get, you know, we're not there yet. This is back in October, just for reference. Come here, Rafiki. Come here. That's my cat. He's meowing. But we're about to get the red cross. I think it's very obvious the path that we're on right now. So going back to, and if you look here, right, the oscillators, these lines here, whenever they crossed above the zero, this is that first cross afterwards. We have the histograms green, first cross afterwards, right? Just started your uptrend, first cross after the uptrend. If I say first cross again, you got to do something silly. I don't know. October. So just started our uptrend, crossed above the zero, just crossed, got our first cross down. Blue line found support at the zero. What do we do here? If we're going back, we had a drop. This is actually, I think, the same drop that we compared it to. But if we look at this from a high to a low overall, that was 66.5K to 58.8K. We take this move here, and if we actually look at where we were in the RSI, we found support right at the 40, overbought zone to the 40. If we take this move over here, just that random move, that first move, similar circumstances as this MACD here, similar circumstances on the RSI too, and even the stochastics. We put it at that high there. From that high to that low, that takes you down to about 86K. Maybe we don't go down to 86K, it's only 88K, but still that's pretty similar, right? That's a pretty similar move. It's not too much to ask for to go down to $88,000, and makes a lot of sense that we go there. So that's the expectation. If we don't go to 88K, if we don't find support there, we could go down a little bit lower, right? 88,000 right here to 382, very common area to find support off of. We could go to our golden ratio, and that's at about 81,000 to 82,000. You know, that other, if we were to stop anywhere else, maybe we stop at 85K, but I doubt it. I don't expect it. Bitcoin, in all fairness, has respected the hell out of its 0.5 this whole cycle, so it's very possible that could happen. But right now, the call is $88,000. I don't have anything else for you guys, so I'm going to end the video there. I don't know what the hell just happened. That was weird. That was wild. All right, take it easy, you guys. Have a good day, and I'll see you on the next one. All right, bye-bye.